Yes. People, what's going on? It's Eagle Talks Football. We're back again with another video. Today, we're doing the Champions League semi-final preview with the man himself, PSG INT in the building, or INT, whatever you guys want to call him. What do people regularly call you, bro? You're on mute for some reason. I can't hear you.
Yeah, I would say a mixture between INT and PSG INT.
PSG INT. Okay. You know what? INT, I usually just think international. So is that where you got the idea, PSG international fan?
Exactly. That's what INT stands for, yeah.
There you go. And we got a lot to talk about. But before we go any further, bro, the way you were talking about us in the lead up to the first game was so mad. And that's my first introduction to you. I don't know where you first ever seen my content, probably the Real Madrid Combined 11. But
Yeah.
But for me, first time seeing your content was you predicting that you'd come to our ground and beat us, and the way you were disregarding our players' quality, disregarding some of my players' overall ability. And I just felt like, I don't know, I was just seeing so much content around the lead up to when we were playing each other, and I was like, yeah, this guy don't rate my team. You just didn't rate Arsenal at the time, and when we beat you, I kind of felt like your reaction was not even to talk about football. It was like as if you were embarrassed as a football club of your overall performance, and at no point did you give us credit for our of the result. It was as if you referred to it as a fluke. And I don't know if you've seen the reaction from a lot of Arsenal fans or people online at that time, but they were laughing. I don't know why you shaved your head. I forget which game made you shave your head, but it definitely wasn't the Arsenal game. I remember after going into that game, you still had hair, right?
Yeah. And I shaved this like in November, I think.
Yeah. So it was Lee Gunnar told you we're gonna beat you, and then you were saying it was gonna be an easy win or something. Let me go back to it. Let's go back to let's get people the memories, because you got a good you got a wonderful channel, guys. Go check out his channel, of course, PSG Int, and he does do reactions. So this was your reaction to the actual goals.
Oh my.
That's a foul.
Oh,
no foul.
My days.
First of all, Donnarumma messed up leading to the first goal, and you were just in shock. But
Would be the standout player for PSG this season. I mean, it depends.
Sorry, but then this was
from that left side.
Donna needs. Oh my God! I was about to say something fucked up. I'm not gonna say it. I was gonna say something on Donna, but this is ridiculous, man. This is absolutely ridiculous.
I think you were so shocked by our quality that your match reaction, when I watched your match reaction, you just said it's Arsenal. Like, how are we losing 2-0 to Arsenal?
Yeah.
You referred to the club more than the actual quality. And as Real Madrid got learned over the last couple of days, over the last couple of weeks, it's not about the name of the badge. It's not about the club. It's about the actual players on the pitch. And this team is no longer the Arsene Wenger's Arsenal. It's not the Arsenal of old that was weak, soft, weak underbelly. We're different, bro. And if I could find the video, I'd love to play it for everybody. But I remember even Terry in the Football Terrace reacted to it, where it was like you were just speaking about it as if it's Arsenal, forgetting that the players on the pitch are more experienced than some of the players on your team. The players on the pitch some of them are better in certain positions, like center backs. Let's be honest, Gabriel and Saliba were playing that game. No surprise, our defense was solid. Our midfield, Declan Rice, Odegaard, Saliba.
But my question to you and a lot of people that would bring up that game is, do you think it was more because even Arsenal fans when that game was played said like Arsenal played through second gear, like that's how bad we were? Do you think that performance, obviously Arsenal played well, but do you think it was more Arsenal overpowering PSG or PSG just being very bad? Because you have to remember, in the beginning of the UCL, we weren't just bad versus Arsenal. We're bad versus Atletico, versus PSV, versus Girona. Like, we were bad versus everyone in the group stage.
I was shocked Dembele didn't play that game.
Yeah. Same here.
But the worst thing was, I felt like you guys came into that game, especially yourself, very, very, like, disregarding of the quality that we had, because you did a combined 11 going into that game where you barely put any of our players. You put Lee over Havertz. You put who else did you put? I think you put a whole midfield of your players.
Yeah.
I forget, but it was definitely like you were going in. And I just want to know, what was your thought process going into that first game? Because clearly it's a lot different now after us beating Real Madrid.
My opinion about Arsenal has definitely changed. I think the mentality got showed versus Madrid in the two legs. I mean, I was one of the people that didn't think you were gonna go through versus Madrid, or thinking like the chance of you going through not that high. But my opinion about the individual talent of Arsenal is still the same. I recently made a new combined 11 for this tie, and I think I
We're
only
gonna
had
talk about that.
Arsenal players as well.
The thing is, when you first made your combined 11 earlier, I actually can find that. Let me pull that up. This was your original combined 11, bro. You best believe this is not all attacks. I'm not trying to attack you. I'm just trying to go through. This is how I felt at the time. I was like, you triggered me so much. I seen this as this was my first introduction to you. Imagine this is my first ever video watching you of you.
Ashraf Hakimi, right centre back, Marquinhos, left centre back, William Saliba, left back, Nuno Mendes, midfield, Vitinha, and João Neves, and Odegaard. And up in attack, Ousmane Dembele, Bradley Barcola, and Kangin Lee.
And when I seen that team,
Him up playing right.
when I seen this team, bro, I got so mad because I'm like, one, you disrespecting Bukayo Saka, number one. Number two, how is not at least Declan Rice is not in there or Partey? I would say both of them showed in the game when we played against you guys that they're currently better than Neves. And yeah, you put Saliba in there. But let's be honest, Gigi Donnarumma over Raya, I don't know, man. I think Raya is a better keeper right now. Very safe to say he's a better goalkeeper at collecting crosses, which is Gigi Donnarumma's biggest weakness, in my opinion.
I mean, Donnarumma has shown very high quality this season, especially in the Champions League knockout stages, and has been doing it for a long time. No, I think Raya deserves his flowers. He's been very good every single time I've watched him. But I still think Donnarumma is a better goalkeeper, especially with the knockout stages he's having, like the Anfield performance and the Villa Park performance as well.
Big up Carnage, guys. Big up Carnage. So yeah, you want to go through your current combined 11 because I have the video for you. If you want me to play it, we play that.
Okay.
Let me show you. So
Saint-Germain ex Arsenal combined 11 in goal.
So you put Donnarumma in, you put Hakimi in.
Yep.
You think
Yep.
both of them easily walk into the team?
You know what? I'm not gonna, over prop Donnarumma. I know that he has his flaws in his game, but I think he's better than Raya and Hakimi. I mean, Hakimi has been the best and most consistent fullback in the past 2 seasons. So obviously, Hakimi has to be there.
All right. Paco and Saliba. You know what? I agree with you, Paco and Saliba, because Gabriel's obviously out. But if Gabriel was fit, would you put him in?
For me, that's the biggest issue when I do combined 11s. It's like you have overall quality and talent, and then you have form this season. Because Pancho, before this, he was playing with Frankfurt in like Europa League and everything, so we couldn't showcase his talent. But this season in the UCL, in the big games, Villa Park away, even that game where we did a lot of mistakes, he wasn't at fault for the goals. Disgusting deflection on goal. And then at Anfield as well, he was superb in that game. So I just think he's been so good for us, especially in the Champions League this season. He deserves a place in that centre-back partnership. And I want to say that I don't rate Saliba and Gabriel at the height like the other people rate them. For example, Saliba, I think Upamecano is better than Saliba.
Oh my God.
I think it's tied between them.
Bro, Bayern fans will tell you Upamecano is a fraud, bro.
Mendes, Opa, especially this season, man, he's been.
Mendes, I rate Mendes. I don't think Miles Lewis Skelly's there yet. Fair play. Mendes definitely.
Where do you think he is? You think
I'm
he's
going to
top
show you
5
my team in a second. I just want to finish off your team. So the thing is, this is your team that you did just a couple of weeks ago. So still no Declan Rice, still no Partey. I find that comical. Like
okay. So none of them is going to be ahead of Vitinha. He was in the Champions League last season.
Vitinha's in, but
okay,
you could go Rice, Partey, and Vitinha. And I'm going to show you my team in a second because I agree with you in the front three. I agree with your front three. This is my team. that I did earlier today and I even posted on my Twitter. But yeah, 1 second. I was looking for your TikTok. You didn't post it on your video on Twitter. You posted it only on YouTube. Let me show you. This is my team. And I think if you see my team, you'll kind of understand, but you might disagree with a couple. First, I put Raya in the team. Can you see it?
Okay.
I put Raya in the team. I put Timber over Hakimi, and this is my logic. Timber is a better 1v1 defensive right back than Hakimi, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree, but is that the only role of a right back?
And I'm saying overall, Timber is an overall better defender and a better overall player. So I put him in there because he fits my criteria of what I would want as a right back. Hakimi's great offensively, but similar to Trent, I would say he's offering you more going forward than he is offering you defensively. And
I
these games,
I agree with that.
It comes down to preference.
I know, but like Hakimi is nowhere close to as bad as Trent at defending. Like
I'm not saying
you can't go and find like a Hakimi mistake that led to a big Champions League goal or something. But okay.
you can't tell me Hakimi is going to shut down your left winger.
No, but I know he's going to have a very good game. Like I can't remember the last time Hakimi has had like an embarrassing game, especially in the Champions League against a top winger. But my question then to you is Timber better at defending than Hakimi is at attacking?
Yes.
And I think
Timber
is better at defending than what Timber is attacking as well.
I think Timber is closer to Hakimi in attacking than Hakimi is Timber in defending. Timber is one of the best 1v1 demons in the world. 1v1 versus anybody. You're going to see versus Kvaratskhelia on tomorrow. He is one of the best defensively 1v1. And if Kvaratskhelia or Barcola or Destiny Dewey, whoever it is, tries to get him 1v1 on the wing and tries to do something for him, 9 times out of 10, I back Timber to win those challenges.
No, he's very good defensively.
You know he never got dribbled past once in the 2 legs versus Vinny.
Yeah, no. He had Vinny on locks those 2 times, man.
I think now that Kyle Walker's out the door, I think the best defensive right back in the world right now is probably Timber.
Defensive. Okay, so who do you think is the best right back then in the world?
Best right back in the world? I think it's debatable what you prefer. I would right now he doesn't have the sample size to say he is the best, but I would still put him in that conversation. And for me, I prefer him over Hakimi. I prefer him over Trent. I think Timber.
Trent is valid. Trent's
I think this season, Champions League team of the season, Timber gets in right back.
Champions League team of the season. I mean, Champions League team of the season, they usually look at like what teams, how high they go through. But I think Hakimi is ahead of Timber. I mean, he has 7 goal contributions this season. Like he's competing versus wingers.
Fair. If you want to judge your winger, if you want to judge your fullbacks off goal contributions, I get it. But I'm just looking at him from the defensive side and what his job is to keep the goals out the back. That's where we're going to win.
It's tight at least, or do you think Timber is clearly your?
No, don't get me wrong. Hakimi has the experience. Hakimi has the better attacking output, but I do think it's close. But it's just down to preference at this point. I'm not saying anyone's crazy if they say Hakimi's better. It's not so clear where it's like a laughable conversation. Like, for example, if someone was to say Marquinhos is better than Saliba right now, I think that would be laughable. Do you get what I'm saying?
I agree. No, Marquinhos front.
But Timber and Hakimi, anybody who debates that, understandable. Similar to the midfield, anybody who debates the midfield and says, you know what, maybe Ruben Neves, maybe Neves or what's his name? What's the other guy's name? Fabian Ruiz. Fabian Ruiz. Maybe one of them can get into the midfield. But in my opinion, the 3 best midfielders from the 2 of our teams this season has been Vitinha, Rice, and Partey. And instead of trying to get a 10 in, trying to get an 8 in, trying to get a 6 in, I just put the 3 best players in the midfield and said Vitinha, Rice, Partey have been the 3 best midfielders from the 2 of our teams.
Yeah, you really think they're better than Fabian Ruiz? Euros player of the tournament, and Joao Neves, man of the
Fabian
match versus City.
Fabian Ruiz, if I'm not mistaken, he didn't even start against us when we at the Emirates.
Mm-mm.
He didn't even start against us at the Emirates. And Vitinha, from what I've seen from him all season, he's been your most important midfielder. And for Arsenal, I would say Rice and Partey have been more impactful than Neves and Fabian. So I just put the three best midfielders from three of our teams. I didn't care
Yeah.
about 10, 8, 6, none of that. And then the
Okay.
front three, I just put the three best players. Kvaratskhelia left, unless you think one of your players, Dewey or Barcola are better than him.
Then who? Then no. We have the same attack. We have the same attack. Saka, Dembele, Kvara.
Yeah. And then Raya, the only reason why I have Raya over Donnarumma, I've seen Donnarumma be a great shot stopper at times, but make mistakes off of coming for crosses and coming and collect. He's kind of clumsy when he comes out of his box to come get the ball.
That is something definitely has to work on. But do you think that's enough to say like that makes him better? Like, is he better than Rai because of that?
Raya is actually in the top percentile for coming and collecting crosses in the world. So it's like one of his elite skills. And for your goalkeeper to have his biggest weakness to be one of my goalkeeper's biggest strengths is one of the main reasons why I would overpick him. I don't think there's the only difference is your goalkeeper, he's great at saving penalties. If we go to penalties, that's where you're going to come. That's where your goalkeeper is going to come clutch. But during the 2 90-minute matches, there's not much separating them. So that's why Ray is better in my opinion.
I mean, you could have mentioned maybe ball at feet. That's something
All at
also
feet,
David
they're
Raya
both
is very
elite.
good at. No. Donna is. I wouldn't say he's bad. I would say he's
Raya?
mid.
Do you not realize Raya used to play outfield? Like he's really good with
Looks
the ball
like
at
it, yeah.
ball at his feet.
No, he's good. He's good.
And
with
he's
the ball
much
at his feet.
shorter, so he's like easier lower balance to the ground. He's able to be more shifty. I've seen some things from I've never seen Donnarumma really go play like right center back. Did you see does he do that for you guys sometimes?
No. But
Raya at times he's playing right center back for us. That's why we conceded for Crystal Palace the way that we did. But yeah, you know what? I've said a lot personally. When I first seen your content, I'm like, this guy's amazing. He really got me mad. But a fair play, bro. I met you on the terrace. We had a conversation. You're a cool guy. So I appreciate you coming on the channel. And yeah, I had to get that off my skin before we
wait, did we?
Yeah, we met on the football terrace the day after we played. The Monday, the Thursday, or the Friday, one of these. Remember?
No, I remember I was on the football terrace.
I was there. Yeah, I was one of the people there.
Did we talk? I felt like we didn't even talk about we barely talked about the game.
Yeah,
it was like a Premier League pod, right?
Yeah, we barely spoke about the game because we spoke about the game only for a little bit, and then we moved on to the Premier League stuff.
Yeah. No, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, but enough about that. Tell me, what do you think when you first met me? When you first seen my stuff, you're like, this guy's deluded,
No, I obviously, as you mentioned before, that combined 11. I've seen it everywhere on Insta, on Twitter, all the time. No, I've been like, yeah, this is an Arsenal fan. Overrates his team, but that's what most football fans do. So
fair play. And now I see you have a lot more respect for us this season, more than ever than the last couple of years.
100%. I mean, I've already uploaded some videos this season, like why I dislike this Arteta project, the Arsenal, and everything, just as an outsider fan. But after those 2 Madrid ties, definitely how I feel about Arsenal has changed. I think they showed me something, especially at the Bernabeu tie, something I've never seen from this Arsenal side before. That resilience, that playing in a perfect way, defending like the way they defended. No, they deserve a lot of praise for how they performed versus Madrid, both legs, 100%.
So talk to me. What's missing from this game? Do you have any injuries? Do you have any players out? Any key pieces from your team missing that we need to know about? Because we can talk about Partey missing for us and Gabriel, but what's missing at PSG? Because I'm not really informed on who might be out, any key players that could be potentially missing.
Nothing. We're 100% fit. 100% fit.
Wow.
So no excuses. No
No
excuses.
yellow card suspensions, nothing.
No, because obviously it got refreshed now for the semifinal. So we're completely clean going into this game.
And how come you guys lost your last game? Did you not really care about the undefeated record?
Oh, the league game.
Yeah.
I felt us as supporters, we cared more about the unbeaten than the players. I think the players, the focus this season has basically been treble, win the league. We're obviously into the cup final as well, and in the UCL semi-final this season. So I think the players didn't want the unbeaten as much as us supporters wanted it. But despite that, in the Nice game, like we did play well. It was just we missed so many chances and we conceded 3 stupid goals. So yeah, it's a bit unfortunate, but we had so much to compete for this season. It's good that a little bit of pressure is off, I guess.
So Kvaratskhelia signing has really transformed your team. That's not even an understatement. Is it just him, or is it the fact that competition for places? How is it that you've just become this next level team from what we faced a couple months ago? Because everyone tells me the team we played back in, when did we play? October. They're like, it's not the same team. The team we
Yeah.
played in October was inexperienced, had Lee as the striker, Xavier
Yeah.
Emery in the midfield, and it's like it's just not the same team. 2 players really makes that big of a difference?
So like during that period, you remember when we were really bad PSG? I was Luis Enrique out after the Atletico Madrid game. I wanted the manager out because he was purposely playing some weird tactics that didn't get the best out of the players. And not a lot of people know about this, but our players complained. Like they told Luis Enrique, we don't have the spirit to fight for you. We're not motivated to play for you as our manager if you're gonna keep on doing this. So then in November, they had like a big meeting where Luis Enrique told the players, you know what? I'm gonna compensate a little bit. I'm gonna give you guys more freedom. And ever since then, we haven't looked back. But as you mentioned with personnel, Vicha Kvaratskhelia obviously been a good signing, impacting and changing stuff. It's also Desiree Doué coming in great form. And obviously Osman Dembele missed the Arsenal game as well. But as I mentioned before, we struggled in the beginning of the UCL heavily. I think we only scored 1 goal in 5 games or something. Like we were really bad in the beginning of the season. Um, but yeah, it is completely different because the tactics are different. The players' form is different. Like the Vitinha that you guys face is in much better form. Obviously, this goes for Arsenal as well, but our players are in much better form. Dembele will be here this time. Desiree Doué in insane form, differently when he played you guys, and then Kvaratskhelia. So I would say it's personal difference, but it was also a big problem that we had that we finally solved it. That has made us this good again.
Mad respect to you guys, to see you guys go from where you were struggling to make it into the next phase to now overtaking Liverpool. How did you guys do it versus Liverpool? Because defensively, I don't rate you guys that highly. How do you guys do it versus Liverpool? Was it all based on penalties, or what would you say that was the difference for you guys for that Liverpool tie to get you guys through it?
I remember this is a small thing, but I will mention it. I remember myself just looking at the Liverpool squad. They don't rotate that much, especially in the league. So I felt a little bit their squad was a bit burnt out. Like Slot has been using the starters this entire season. Like Salah has played, I think, 50 games, Van Dijk 50 games. So I felt they were maybe coming in a bit tired into the game uh, compared to us. We have a much better squad depth, so we rotate a lot more. Um, but I think it was just talent. Like the PSG players are more talented than the Liverpool players. Then I would also say Liverpool's biggest strengths, there are 2 center backs, Konate and Van Dijk. Because we play with a false 9, it's like we're taking them out of the game. Like they weren't up versus an Isak, a Haaland that they could focus on. It was Dembele moving into spaces. Like for the goal we scored versus Liverpool, Dembele drops into the midfield. They can't follow him. So, and then Salah, obviously. Salah came up against the best left back in the world. He's quicker than him, he's stronger than him, he's smarter than him, he's higher IQ than him. So we just took out Liverpool's best players from that game. Yeah, we're just a better team than Liverpool. That's why we beat them, I think. But as you mentioned, defensively, when we went to Anfield, I think all the players told themselves we're gonna do our absolute best defensively. And when we actually focus defensively, when we don't leave spaces, we didn't push up too much versus Liverpool at Anfield, and then we can defend as if we're the best defensive team in the world. So, or survive more.
Talk to me. Mendes versus Saka. What are you expecting?
I mean, very similar to the last game we played. Basically, I think they had around 10, maybe less, maybe 8 actions versus each other. Our Saka won maybe 2. Nuno Mendes won the rest. So that's pretty much what I'm thinking is gonna happen. I think Nuno's gonna win majority of the duels, but Saka will definitely win at least 3-4 duels. Knowing how aggressive Nuno Mendes is, like Saka, he always does that. He waits for the defender to go in, and then pop, he goes to the side. So I'm already expecting Saka to go through maybe 2-3 times versus Nuno. Just hope Pacho can recover, Nuno can recover. But
Nuno
Saka's
Mendes.
obviously better 1v1 than Salah.
Nuno Mendes did really well versus Saka to the point where he almost had 2 goals. Also, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry. But yeah, Nuno Mendes, you're right. He won all the majority of his defensive duels versus Saka. He did really well in that game. Saka came out of that game with a free kick, though. Fair play. He did end up getting his goal regardless, and he did dribble past him a couple times. What was it? 3 times or 2 times, whichever one it was, I forget. But
Yep.
the main thing this game is you're not going up against Trossard and Havertz. You're gonna have a guy in Mikel Moreno drifting into midfield, similar to how Dembele drifts all over the place. So it's going to be a lot more unorthodox than before. You're going to have your defenders are going to be more occupied with players drifting into the midfield, coming in and out. So you're going to have times where you're going to see Odegaard up top. You're going to have times where you're going to see Rice up top. You're going to have times where you're going to see Mikel Moreno up top. It seems like all these players just interchange throughout the game, and they keep popping up in different places. But it's going to be different now that Partey's out. We got a key issue. So yeah, Mendes versus Saka. Most times when I see a left back, I say Saka's going to rip them. Mendes probably the one in the world I'm going to say, you know what, fair play. He's not going to be able to have as good as the time. But if you leave Mendes by himself with Saka, it might be to your detriment. You still would probably want Pacho or whoever to come and help out on occasion.
No, I don't. PSG never adapts because of a team we play. Even if we play Barca Yamal or Barca Rafinha, I don't think we'll adapt that much. We play high risk, high reward football, and just hope Nuno Mendes will do his job versus Saka. I don't think. Yeah, maybe Fabian, as you said, Pacho always are ready to recover for Nuno Mendes, but no, Saka will be left in 1v1 situations versus Nuno. Same with Martinelli. Martinelli will be left in 1v1 positions versus Marquinhos because Hakimi will be pushing up so much. So,
Ooh,
I mean, that's just
is
the risk
that a
take.
place where we can where we could find a mismatch?
Oh, I mean, that's our biggest weakness. Marquinhos in away Champions League games. I don't know if you watched the Aston Villa game, but just as a leader, what he was doing, he was giving away some easy balls. He doesn't know how to defend in space. Like he's a bit cooked pace wise. I don't like people don't watch PSG enough, but if you watch us going into this game, he's the weakest link in our team by far.
Is he a bozo, or what is it?
He's had bozo moments in the UCL knockout stages, but I would say it's more about just the pressure. He can't handle the away game pressure. If you remember the mistake he made versus Newcastle when we lost 4-1, the first ball, I don't know, his head is just not there. And then he's also a bit older, so he's not that quick. I remember Luis Diaz cooked him. I remember last season Rafinha cooked him. So no, he's definitely the weakest link. If Martinelli doesn't have a good game, then Martinelli is not that good. Because Marquinhos is not that good. Like Martinelli should be cooking him at least a couple of times.
All right. Let's talk about a weakness. Set pieces. Arsenal, one of Arsenal's strengths. I'm hearing you guys are not that good at set pieces. If I'm not mistaken, we scored directly from a corner. Directly from a free kick. Aston Villa scored directly from a corner versus you guys. Set pieces, PSG are very vulnerable from set pieces.
Wait, Villa didn't score from a corner.
Didn't Villa set up a goal from a corner?
Are you talking about the Rashford goal?
Second leg.
Didn't they get a goal?
Didn't they get a goal from like a deflection after a corner kick came in? Second chance they scored, no?
No. They had the McGinn banger, the Tielemans counter-attack, and then Rashford when he cooked
Okay, I'm
cooked
mistaken.
Fabiano Vitinha and then gave it to Konsa.
Okay, I might be mistaken then. Did Liverpool score from a corner? No, they didn't.
No, I can already tell you. I think we've conceded 50 goals this season. I think, was it maybe 20% are from set pieces. So
Who scored from a corner? Was it Nice this weekend?
Nice scored from a set piece, a free kick next to the corner flag. They had a free kick there.
Okay, I might be mistaken it. But regardless, you let me know. Is it that big of a weakness, or is it something that you think you could solve versus Arsenal?
I mean, I think corner kicks, set pieces, defensive set pieces in general are a weakness for us. I remember versus Liverpool, every single time Liverpool had the corner, I was shaking. I was like, this is the time. This is the time. But one thing that you mentioned before about Donna, I remember in the Anfield game, Donnarumma, punched a lot of balls very well. We won a lot of area duels. But I still think, I remember Quensa, he hit the post. That came from a set piece. So no, set pieces are always dangerous for us. And knowing that that's your strength. Thing is, though, they asked Luis Enrique, for example, he was like, are you going to do some preparation? He was like, no, I'm confident in the stuff that we're good in. And obviously, there will be stuff we're bad in. We're not a perfect team. So I think that would be Arsenal's main strength. But we will do our best to defend it well, especially with you guys missing Gabriel. Like, how important do you feel he's for your set pieces?
Kivior scored from a set piece the other day versus Crystal Palace. We still score set pieces without Gabriel Magalhaes. It's just the biggest key piece of set pieces is Saka and Declan Rice's deliveries, not really the goal scorer, I would say.
Okay.
There's going to be goals regardless. If you get it into a certain area, what we do is if you have the box, right? We try to get the ball literally as close as possible from a direct free kick goal, so somebody can get the back. Someone can get a touch on it, and it's pretty much in. So we try to get the ball as close as possible to the net without the goalkeeper getting to it first.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can be near post, sometimes it can be far post, sometimes it can be in the middle, just trying to get somebody to get their head on it. But either way, the delivery is always has to be the most important part and not the goal scorer themselves. Kivior scored from a set piece the other day, and it was like it was a free kick from the side, just outside, just in between the halfway line and the box. And Odegaard chipped it in and he headed it top corner from like distance. So if Kivior can score those against Crystal Palace, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody else can do it. Timber scored before. We've seen Saliba score headers this season, numerous players. So Arsenal's going to be always a threat. And versus Real Madrid, those free kicks,
100%.
unbelievable. I don't think that's going to happen again, but hey, I would love to see it. You tell me, what do you think is your biggest strength going into this game versus Arsenal?
I think it depends on how Arsenal play, because last time you played really high up against us, but obviously it's a completely different attack, different team. So if Arsenal once again play that high, it will be counterattacks. Like we saw the counterattack versus Liverpool and Villa. We could like be extremely dangerous from the counterattack. Much differently from Real, who were complete garbage from their counterattacks against you. If you don't play the high, I would say.
Or would you say bravery?
What do you mean?
Would you say our weakness is not taking our chances, or
Didn't you ask me about strength?
no? Because I thought you're saying your strength is our Arsenal's strength. Arsenal's weakness, not your strength. Sorry, my apologies. I meant to say like, what's your strength that you could utilize against us?
Yeah, I said it. Counterattack. If Arsenal, I don't exactly know how Arsenal was set up against us, how high they will be, how high they will press us. But if they do press us high, counterattacks definitely biggest strength. With the fullbacks we have, like basically you will have Hakimi, Nuno, Kvara, Dembele, Due running at you. So yeah, that would be, I think, our biggest strength versus Arsenal this game.
Yeah,
counterattacks.
we're not good at counterattacks on offense, but defensively, we're actually pretty good at getting our players back and defending as a unit quite well. One thing about Arsenal is Timber and Miles Lewis-Skelly are not scrubs. They can take the challenge. Now, I don't know how they're going to do versus Kvaratskhelia. I know Timber's going to do well versus Kvaratskhelia, Mazlou Skelly, he's shown that he's solid defensively too. So I'm confident for whoever you have on your right hand side. What is it going to be, Destiny or Dewey?
It's gonna be Desiree Doué. Sometimes Dembele will be going into that space. Hakimi will push up as well. So you basically have those three players in that region.
Mm. Do you think this is going to be a very defensive game, or do you think it's going to be a basketball game? Because in my opinion, if Arsenal are going to be controlling the possession or giving you possession, whichever way, we're going to try to make it a defensive battle. And this is where Arteta and Enrique's tactical managerial battle begins. And what do you think Enrique is going to do?
I think Enrique is going to play as he usually does, which is try to have possession, try to press, try to have counter press. Obviously, we do less of it when we are away than at home. Like at Anfield, we were still pressing and staying high up, but we were a bit conservative. So I think we will try to have possession, try to play Arsenal on the counter. But for me, the main question is because you are at your home stadium, and you are more adaptable than us. Like Luis Enrique plays one way, only way. How do you see Arsenal? Like, how do you think Arteta would do? You mentioned defensive. Will you press as high?
Yeah, we will press. We will press high up the pitch. We will try to win the ball back immediately after we lose it. We will have our defenders and our fullbacks higher up the pitch when we're in possession. When we're out of possession, we will set up in a low block and give you the ball and see what you can do with it. There's going to be moments in the game where if we concede, we're going to be pushing for it and we're going to go all out attack. Now, if we were to not concede and we were the ones to concede, you guys were the ones to concede first, and we scored our opening goal, then we're going to see there's going to be a moment where we weather the storm. We're going to give you the ball and see what you can do for it for 5 to 10, 15 minutes before we go again and try to get another goal. And we're going to try to force you into errors. As much as you think you're coming to our ground and we're going to be the positive team, there's going to be moments where we say, let's see if you can hurt us and give you the ball and set up defensively in a shape in which our backline doesn't move and only Saka and Martinelli are going out wide to defend the wide channels. And you're going to basically have like a back six at times. But that back six can quickly bounce into an attacking five.
Okay. What do you think? How do you think you would feel, and what do you think Arsenal would do if you went down? Like if we get an early goal, 1-0, how would Arsenal's tactical reaction be then?
The game is going to be very open. You're going to give us chances. I don't think it's going to be a situation where we're not going to get chances, as that would mean you'd have to change your philosophy and become more defensive. I don't think your manager will come into this game and settle for a 1 or 2 goal lead. He's going to continue to play football no matter how much you guys have goals. And versus Aston Villa, you've shown that you have defensive lapses in your team. I do think we will force you guys into errors and win the ball high up the pitch, getting goals. Our creativity is going to have to come from the likes of Bukayo Saka and what do you call it, Martinelli getting the ball and creating overloads with our fullbacks, Timber, or the midfielders coming onto that side like Odegaard and creating mismatches. Majority of our goals come from the right hand side, either passing to the left or you're not going to see anything through the middle. It's going to be from the wide channels. So Mendes, Hakimi are going to have a long day. And if we can get isolated Pacho versus Saka or isolated Martinelli and Mazlou Skelly versus Marquinhos, that's where we're going to get our mismatches and get our creativity. I don't know if I answer your question, what you're asking.
No. It was great. It was great. Awesome.
Yeah, but Arteta is definitely more of a preserve the lead rather than add more to the lead. Like if we get a 2-0 lead, he would rather keep it 2-0 than risk getting the third and also conceding at the same time. We're going to always try to make sure we keep our shape. So if you do end up seeing a situation where you're down 1-0 and Arsenal is setting up defensively, it's not because we're not trying to get more goals. It's just because we know we're going to get an opportunity. But if we do get an opportunity, lately we've been clinical. In the adverse Real Madrid, we were extremely clinical. We could have been more clinical. It could have been 5 in the first half. In the first leg, I mean. It could have been 5 in the first leg if we took all our chances. So it's really down to PSG to see if they can break us down defensively. And I don't think you faced a defense as good as ours all season. What do you think?
Where would you put Liverpool?
I think Arsenal have a better defense than Liverpool. I think Liverpool might be good, but Mo Salah is not tracking back. Bukayo Saka, best believe he's helping out
Oh,
tracking back defensively.
true,
You know
true.
what I mean?
Like overall team as well, yeah.
The whole entire team. Mikel Moreno is going to be defending in the 90th minute in the box when he's playing striker. You know what I mean? So in
Yeah,
this
yeah,
game,
yeah.
though, Mikel Moreno is not going to play striker. Just to let you know, this is what the team is going to look like, in my opinion. But yeah, feel free to tell me if you disagree with the team that's being projected here. Look at this. Big up everyone in the chat. Also, please do hit that like button, guys. Please do hit that subscribe button. Let's focus on what we're talking about, not other people who are not here right now. But yeah, so you
Yeah,
got
that's our lineup. Yeah, the only question mark is Due or Barcola in attack.
I would rather see Barcola play. Dewey is dangerous, bro.
The thing with
Dewey's-
Barcola is if we're gonna play more counter attack, is he's a runner. Like Due is less of a runner; he's more like a dribbler, you could say. Yeah, Due is dangerous. Like for me, the guy that has to be very good for you guys is Skelly, because we attack a lot down the right hand side. Like Dembele goes to the right, you got Neves there, Hakimi, and then Due. So it's gonna be crazy overloadment on the right side.
So the key matchup is going to be Dewey versus Mazu Skelly, you're saying?
That's the thing, we don't, because our attackers move around so much, so it's gonna be more like Skelly versus whoever is on the right. That's gonna be ours, and yours is gonna be Saka versus Nuno more. That's more of a 1v1.
If you're saying Martinelli's going to have chances at Marquinhos,
Yeah.
what's Marquinhos' ability at 1v1 stopping defenders? Because Martinelli's not that good 1v1.
Yellow card. Yellow card.
Really?
Yeah, no, he's like we talk about Marquinhos all the time on our podcast. Like, is he good enough? Should we get rid of him? Maybe my opinions are a bit stronger about him, but he's someone I'm not that confident in. I know he can have a good game, but he's someone that definitely Arsenal should be looking to attack, especially with Hakimi pushing up all the time. Like if you watch the PSG Barca game from last season at the Park, Hakimi missed that game. And we got cooked down that right hand side. So yeah, Marquinhos is definitely our weakest link.
I look at your team, I say physically, my team is just physically stronger. Like some of these guys, yeah, you have the pace, you have the youth, but I feel like in a physical battle, 1v1, some of these guys can brush you off the ball. Like Saliba can brush Dembele off the ball. Kvaratskhelia can get brushed off the ball by Timber. Mazu Skelly could probably brush Dewey off the ball. Neves, Vitinha, and Ruiz could get bullied in the midfield by Rice.
Yeah, but I've never understood this physicality thing, because like the Liverpool fans said the same thing, Aston Villa fans said the same thing. I don't understand this physicality thing. Like football is gonna be played with the ball. Like Dembele and Saliba are not gonna have that many collisions. Vitinha is gonna have the ball. Rice is gonna try to take it away, and then Vitinha is gonna give it away. So I don't think that. Yes, Arsenal have taller, bigger players than PSG 100%. I think it will give you a big advantage in set pieces. But in overall play, I don't know if you'll have that big of a difference as Arsenal fans like to mention. Did you know that Neves has a better aerial duels than Rice, for example? He wins more aerial duels and with a higher percentage. It's just because he's short. People think he's
Yeah, we're both going to play with the ball on the ground, but I'm saying like just being able to take somebody off the ball physically, it can be easier in the final third when dealing with the likes of Kvaratskhelia, Dembele, and Dewey. The midfielders specifically, when you have Rice, Partey in the midfield or Moreno in the midfield, those 1v1 battles where you're guarding the ball or protecting the ball or holding on to a lead, it's a lot easier to do that when you have somebody who's just physically more demanding. And that's where it's won or lost. Like, for example, the Liverpool tie, it was so close that you wouldn't see those differences. But say if Arsenal do get a lead versus you guys, I do think it's going to be more difficult for you guys to do what you do versus other teams, which is catch them on the counter or use your pace.
for sure.
Where if you guys have a lead, it's going to be difficult for us. But would you ever become defensive? Would you ever say, you know what, you have to be the ones that break us down? Because that's where we would struggle. That's why no disrespect to PSG, I would have rather played you than Aston Villa, because we face Aston Villa so often and they get the better of us so often that I'm happy we're ending up playing you, which I feel like is a team that suits us more. You're very young. You have a lot of young players in your team, and I feel like it's a better chance. This is more of a 50-50 matchup where I haven't seen my team lose to you guys in my history. Like, we've never lost to PSG.
Yeah. Would you say it would be harder for Arsenal to beat PSG than Madrid?
Yes, it would be harder for Arsenal to beat PSG than Madrid because you're set up better than Madrid. Madrid were not set up well. Madrid were not coached well. Madrid were really just vibes.
Yeah.
So you're definitely going to be harder than Madrid, and you have better cohesion. That is the main thing. They've never gelled over at Real Madrid. If Real Madrid
Yeah.
gelled, they would be unstoppable, but they never gelled, and they don't have a complete team. You seem to have one of the most complete teams, and it's so young. Fair play to your club, building the right way, getting rid of the Mbappes and everything, and you're better off. Remember, I messaged you a couple weeks ago, this team better than Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe? And you said,
Yep.
I like both teams, but yes, and I agree. The Messi didn't fit. Neymar and Mbappe, they all didn't fit together. This works perfectly, and this is going to be tougher.
I'm so excited, man, for this game, man. Who do you think has, like, do you think you need to win? Are you
Of
confident
course.
that Arsenal, no, like, let's say for your perspective, like if PSG get a draw or PSG even win, how confident would you be going away?
You're never confident going away from home without a lead. So we need a win. We need to have a lead. It doesn't have to be 3-0, but we need to have some sort of lead going to Paris, because anything can happen in football. Anything can happen in a couple minutes. We've seen that. Now,
Yeah.
I'm confident in my team defensively that we can hold it down, but offensively is where I'm concerned. We need to see a couple goals go in, and the way that you play is maybe more conducive to us winning. I personally the one team I would have wanted to avoid the most is Inter, but clearly you rate Barcelona more than Inter.
Yeah, in the other semifinal, like, yeah. No, I think Barca have been spectacular this season.
I kind
So
of view Barcelona the same way as I view you. Both of your teams are really good offensively, but I think we're more suited to teams that play well offensively. But yeah, you're gonna have to go soon. But tell me, what's your prediction of the first leg? Forget about the whole tie. Are you going into this game, close game, very scared, or are you very confident?
no, I'm confident, especially, the narrative has switched. If we knew that Arsenal and PSG were going to play in the semifinal before we played Villa and you played Madrid, I think way many more people would have said PSG are the favorites. But after our Villa tie and your Madrid tie, from what I've seen, more people are favoring Arsenal. Maybe it's still tight, but more people are favoring Arsenal. So the narrative has changed after, you could say, PSG's nearly battled versus Villa, us losing the unbeaten streak, not being the best in the league recently. So the narrative has changed, and our players have a point to prove in this game, a bit similar to our Liverpool game. I feel like when I've looked at PSG fans and Arsenal fans have come across as way more arrogant and very strong confidence going into this game. The PSG fans, a lot of them, not the most confident. Some of them are saying the best we can do is a draw. So I think this is a point to prove for our PSG players that, the past couple of weeks haven't been the best, but this is a big game. Big game. Form doesn't matter. It gets thrown out of the window, and let's see what the best team is to win. So no, we got to go there and win. No excuses. If
So
we
what
get a draw after the game, I could be like, it's okay, but I really want to win, especially because we lost at the Emirates as well before. I want to get that revenge.
has PSG ever won a Champions League?
No.
This is another thing people speak about. They're like, the fact that neither of our clubs have won it before is kind of like there's no psychological edge. And that winning that first leg could be the psychological edge to get you over the tie. So I want to win this game also. Neither of us want to lose. I'm going with a 2-0 Arsenal victory at the Emirates. I'm saying
Okay.
it's going to be similar to what we did last time, but we're going to need a solid defensive performance from Kivior now that Gabriel's out. Saliba the same. Our tactical approach is going to be set up difficultly, neutralize the counter-attack threat, and exploit your weaknesses through set pieces and trying to win the ball high up the pitch from either Neves or somebody else making an error in the midfield, or one of your defenders making a bad pass, trying to get the ball into a wide channel and try to win the ball and counter quickly. Your recent form has been amazing, but losing 3-1 to Nice with a full strength side, maybe we can exploit some vulnerabilities with your tired legs from some of those guys playing as many minutes as they did versus Nice just on Friday, where we haven't played since last week Wednesday. Was it Wednesday or Tuesday? I forget, whichever day it was, Wednesday. And then finally the set pieces. If anything, it sucks that Thomas Partey is not playing, but this is our opportunity to show everyone we can go and get these wins even with one of our players down. Fully strength PSG side, 2-0 Arsenal, one set piece goal, and another one from Bukayo Saka, as always. But yeah, what are you saying? What's your score prediction, and what do you think who's gonna score for you?
I'm predicting a 2-1. I still don't know how the 2-1 will go. Maybe it's like we score, then you score. It's like a 1-1, and then we get the winner. Maybe I don't think 2-0, and then you get consolation goal. So yeah, I'm predicting a 2-1. I think either Dembele or Kvara, one of our moments attacker, is gonna get a goal. Maybe Due is crazy. And then I think one of our fullbacks. I think they have 11 goal contributions between them in the UCL this season. So I'm backing one of them. Would you say a 1-goal lead for Arsenal is enough? Like how confident would you be with only a 1? So you win 2-1 or 1-0?
Any lead is better, is good going to Paris, right? But another thing is, I know my team. We can set up defensively to get a draw. We can set up defensively to get a 1-0 win. I don't know what you're capable of on when you're down. How are you gonna break us down? I've only seen PSG in an advantage situation this whole tournament.
Yep.
I've never seen you coming from behind to try to win a tie.
Maybe City. 2-0 down at the Park. Switched
But
to 4-2.
the difference with
Obviously, they're
City,
ass defensively. Like they were leaving so much
that's
space.
the point. So until you play a team that's actually really good defensively, where this is going to be I think a shock to your system, and hopefully I'm right. But the only way I see things going bad for us is if you guys get a 3-goal lead and then you change your tactics and go defensive. But what's the chance of you guys scoring 3 goals at the Emirates unanswered? I would say nearly impossible. We haven't lost a game at the Emirates in a long time. In the Champions League, we haven't lost a game at the Emirates in 2 years.
I mean, Liverpool fans told me we would never knock them out at Anfield.
Yeah, fair. I'm not saying you'll never knock us out. I'm just saying I'm extremely confident in my team, and I do think defense wins you leagues. Defense wins you Champions Leagues. You guys, this is the definition of great attack versus great defense. And I think
but it's not like our defense is bad. Like
no, your fullbacks
the
are great.
defense.
Your fullbacks are great. It's just I do think your defenders you have a weak link in your defense where Arsenal, we've somehow shown, even with Kivior in our defense, we're still solid.
But don't you think
do I come off as arrogant?
Absolutely no. But don't you think like Madrid didn't put Kivior in a difficult enough spot that maybe our attackers could? Do you think maybe Madrid didn't put Kivior in a difficult spot that maybe our attackers could do? Because we're better offensively than Madrid?
We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. If you guys move the ball quickly, I think Kivior has been unbelievable lately. He's not been the issue. Saliba's been the issue lately. Saliba's been the one making mistakes lately. So if you can force Saliba into a mistake, maybe you can get a goal from there. It really comes down to how you handle your nerves once you're in the game.
Yeah, no. this team has been in many tough away grounds. That won't be an issue. My main issue, if we're gonna lose this game, or this game doesn't go well for us, it's us not taking our chances, or Raya having a spectacular game, Saliba block here, Kivior block here, just like the Liverpool game, and
It's
then
really
defensive
close.
mistakes.
It's
And
really
then
close.
defensive mistakes.
It's
Yep.
really close because neither of our teams have massive experience in these kind of situations.
Yep.
Although you've
Would
been
you say
here,
then the manager edges it? Would you say the manager is the main difference, Arteta and Lucho, in terms of experience?
the thing is though, I think Arteta would change his tactics depending on the team, where your manager seems to be more, I'm gonna play a certain way regardless.
True.
So it seems like one is adaptable versus stubborn. And I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking at it from my perspective. I'm very biased,
No.
bro. I can't see it from the perspective of Enrique is going to be outclassing Arteta, or Arteta is going to outclass Enrique. I just think it's a situation where the two teams are very close, and I do think Arsenal is just better defensively. Midfield, you could say it's a tie, and you're better offensively. And if we get the same amount of chances as Villa, we're going to win. If you guys get the same amount of opportunities you got against, if you limit us to the same amount of opportunities, what do you call it? If you limit us to the same amount of chances that you gave to Liverpool and create as many chances you did against Liverpool like us, then you guys are going to win. But right now, I do think it's going to be closer to the Villa tie than it would be the Liverpool tie. I don't know what Liverpool were doing. Still don't get it. But yeah, maybe you're right. They're probably burnt out. But yeah, you got to go, bro, in 2 minutes. I'll let you go. You got a bunch of shows coming on today. You want to let the people know what you're doing?
Yeah, if anyone wants to watch, continue the marathon with me, I'm gonna be on Football Terrace, I think, in a couple of minutes. Then I'm gonna have a show on another YouTuber channel called Barca Boy, and then lastly but not least, I'm gonna have a show with Lee Gunner on my YouTube channel. So if anyone's interested in more PSG Arsenal discussions, you're free to join me.
There you go.
Thank you.
Anyways,
Thank you.
I'm going to redirect you guys to Hussam right now. So just let him know. Egal Raid, David Coot, Premier League, and I'm out of here, people. Peace.